When did being rich become a virtue? It's a question that makes you stop and think. You see it every day. Celebrities flaunting their wealth, billionaires becoming role models, and the media glorifying luxurious lifestyles. But how did we get here? How did our society shift to a point where immense wealth is not just admired but seen as a marker of success and virtue? To understand our current obsession with wealth, we need to take a step back in time. In ancient societies, wealth often equated to power and influence, but it wasn't always seen as virtuous. In many cultures, especially those with strong religious or philosophical underpinnings, virtue was associated with wisdom, bravery, and moral integrity rather than material wealth. In ancient Greece, for example, philosophers like Socrates and Plato valued wisdom and virtue over wealth. They believed that true happiness and fulfillment came from living a virtuous life, not from accumulating riches. Before the Industrial Revolution, wealth was typically associated with land ownership and aristocratic lineage. However, the advent of industrialization brought about a new class of wealthy individuals, industrialists and entrepreneurs. These self-made men amassed fortunes through innovation and often ruthless business practices. Figures like Andrew Carnegie, John D. Rockefeller, and Cornelius Vanderbilt became emblematic of this new breed of wealth creators. Their stories of rising from modest beginnings to incredible wealth resonated deeply with the public, fueling the myth of the American dream. The Industrial Revolution also saw the rise of the modern corporation, a new business entity that could amass capital from a large number of investors. Corporations allowed for greater scale and efficiency in production and distribution, further concentrating wealth among those who could afford to invest. This period marked the beginning of corporate dominance in the economy, a trend that has only intensified over time. Corporations provided a mechanism for large-scale investment and risk-sharing, enabling the expansion of industries such as steel, oil, and railroads. This shift also led to the professionalization of management, with a focus on maximizing shareholder value, often at the expense of workers' welfare and environmental sustainability. The Industrial Revolution significantly altered the social structure. It created a stark divide between the wealthy industrialists and the working class, who labored in often appalling conditions for meager wages. Urbanization, driven by the need for factory labor, led to the rapid growth of cities, where the disparity between the rich and the poor became increasingly visible. The working class endured long hours in unsafe factories, with little job security or social protection. Child labor was rampant, and living conditions in rapidly growing industrial cities were often dire. This stark contrast between the opulence of the wealthy and the struggles of the poor sparked social unrest, and the rise of labor movements advocating for better working conditions and fair wages. As industrialists accumulated vast fortunes and displayed their wealth through grand mansions, a cultural shift began to take place. Wealth became a symbol of success and virtue, a tangible proof of one's capabilities. This period also saw the emergence of the self-made man narrative, celebrating those who climbed the social and economic ladder through sheer determination and hard work. Newspapers and magazines often highlighted the luxurious lifestyles of the wealthy, reinforcing the idea that financial success was the ultimate goal. This period laid the groundwork for the economic structures and cultural values that continue to shape our society today. However, it also introduced many of the challenges we still grapple with, such as economic inequality, worker exploitation, and environmental degradation. The late 20th century saw the rise of neoliberal economic policies, championed by leaders like Margaret Thatcher in the UK and Ronald Reagan in the US. These policies promoted free market capitalism, deregulation, and privatization, emphasizing the importance of individual initiative and entrepreneurship. The rhetoric of these leaders often highlighted the virtues of self-reliance and personal responsibility, framing wealth accumulation as a result of hard work and moral fortitude. This ideological shift reinforced the belief that financial success was not only achievable for anyone who worked hard enough, but also a reflection of one's character and virtue. The concept of trickle-down economics suggested that as the rich got richer, their wealth would eventually benefit everyone else. This idea bolstered the perception that supporting the wealthy was in the best interest of society as a whole. Media has played an instrumental role in shaping and perpetuating the cultural shift that equates wealth with virtue. Throughout the 20th and 21st centuries, various forms of media have glorified the lifestyles of the rich and famous, presenting them as aspirational figures. In the 1980s, shows like Lifestyles of the Rich and Famous gave viewers an inside look at the opulent lives of celebrities and billionaires. This glamorization of wealth painted a picture of luxury and success that many aspired to achieve. The idea that wealth brought happiness, fulfillment, and social status became deeply ingrained in the collective consciousness. Programs like Keeping Up with the Kardashians and the Real Housewives franchise showcased the extravagant lifestyles of their stars, reinforcing the notion that being wealthy was synonymous with being successful and admired. Social media platforms like Instagram and TikTok have taken this to a new level, allowing influencers to display their wealth and luxurious experiences to millions of followers, often blurring the lines between reality and fantasy. The late 20th and early 21st centuries also witnessed the rise of the tech industry, particularly in Silicon Valley. Tech moguls like Steve Jobs, Bill Gates, Mark Zuckerberg became the new faces of wealth and innovation. The tech industry's emphasis on disruption and innovation further cemented the idea that wealth was a byproduct of brilliance and forward thinking. This narrative was appealing because it suggested that anyone with a great idea and the drive to succeed could achieve extraordinary wealth. The cultural shift towards viewing wealth as a virtue has been closely linked to changing social norms and the rise of consumer culture. As societies became more affluent, consumerism grew and the acquisition of material goods became a significant aspect of personal identity and status, promoting the idea that owning certain products or brands was a sign of success and social standing. The proliferation of credit and the normalization of debt allowed more people to partake in this consumer culture, even if it meant living beyond their means. The relentless pursuit of wealth and status can result in significant stress, anxiety, and a sense of inadequacy for those who feel they fall short of these societal expectations. The pressure to keep up with the Joneses can lead to unhealthy financial behaviors, such as overspending and accruing debt, in an attempt to emulate the lifestyles portrayed in the media. The concentration of wealth in the hands of a few has created a stark disparity between the rich and the poor, contributing to a widening economic gap that affects nearly every aspect of society. When the wealthy accumulate and hoard resources, they often have the means to influence economic policies in their favor. This in turn leaves the less fortunate with fewer opportunities and resources, exacerbating poverty and economic inequality. The systemic nature of this inequality means that the benefits of economic growth are unevenly distributed, leading to a cycle where the rich get richer while the poor struggle to make ends meet. So, how do we address these issues and rethink our reverence for wealth as a virtue? The solution begins with redefining success. Success should be measured not just by financial achievements, but by a broader set of values, including personal integrity, kindness, and contributions to the community. True virtue lies in how we use our resources and the values we embody, rather than the amount of wealth we accumulate. So, how will you choose to view wealth and success starting tomorrow?